Hey, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Filer Family Farm. My name is Kenny Filer, and I am the owner, proprietor, and general overall laborer for Filer Family Farm. Um, I was thinking about it the other day. I have never done an introductory video to inform you all who we are. So I figured, why not do it right now? So, a little bit about me. Grew up in eastern Iowa. Joined the Marine Corps at 17 years old, and as of last year, I retired in March of last year. I'm doing 22 years, and it's been a fun and wild ride. Made a lot of friends and family along the way, and met my wife when I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. We've been married for almost 14 years now. We have three beautiful little girls, Sana, who's 11, Anessa, who's 8, and Erica, who's going to turn 6 here in a couple days. So um, it's been a blessing to have those four ladies in my life. And since retiring, so for the longest time, Marion was following me around on my orders, going from North Carolina to Omaha, Nebraska, then back to North Carolina. Now it's time for me to follow her. So at the same time as I am retiring, Marion gets notification that her job is creating a new branch, and they're looking for people to become a part of that team. Marion put in her job application, she got hired, and that brought us here to Kansas City, Missouri. Um, in what was it? In March of last year, I retired. In April, I believe she got hired. In May, we put our house on the market after busting our butts with the help of our friends and their family. We got our house on the market. We got it sold the day, it was July 14th of last year, that our house went under contract and was sold, which happens to be the same day that we packed up and left North Carolina to go to Iowa for 30 days. During that whole time frame, we're looking for houses. We're looking all around Kansas City, and we were looking around Oak Grove and Lone Jack and oh boy, where's some of the other towns over there? Near Independence. So we were looking east, east of Kansas City. Um, Found a lot of potentials, but then when we finally got a realtor and we started looking at some of the houses, and like it didn't feel right. It would have been quite a bit of drive for my wife for her new job, and but anyway, long story short, we found a great home in Raymore, a farm, a 10-acre farm in Raymore. Um, it's a great commute for my wife. The school district is awesome. My kids love their school. They love their teacher or their teachers. No, I don't homeschool. I don't have the patience for it. So I commend all of you that do homeschool or are teachers. My hats are off to you. I know I couldn't do it. Let's see. Our farm is in the city limits, so we are a mile and a half, maybe, yeah, probably about a mile and a half away from the fire department. So it does offer its pros and cons. We are close to town, so I know there's some of you that are way out in the country. That's what we originally wanted, but this place presented itself, and we weighed the options, and we were fine with that. But the funny thing is this farm, the previous owners, um, the previous owner, he and I were both in Iraq together at the same time. Um, his wife and my wife have the same jobs. Um, what else? What else was there? There was something else. There were so many similarities between the two of us. It was just really awkwardly weird, but it was cool. Um, but on this farm, They had their own grass-fed, pasture-raised pork and beef and chickens, and had chickens up the wazoo. When we toured the house, we went downstairs into the basement, and there was eggs everywhere. It was absolutely nuts. We're like, it seems like a pretty good place. And we like it. So we're basically starting from scratch. We have the house, we have the hoop house, we have the shop, and we have 10 acres. So we're starting from scratch. After a few months of being here, we planted 3 apple trees, 3 grapes, and 2 blueberry bushes, and then later on, earlier this year, we were able to plant some pecan trees and some oak trees. I think there's a few hickory that I planted as well, and some eastern white pine. Let's see, what are our goals? With this farm, we want to be able to raise our own food, do it organically, and forgive me if I offend some of you guys for saying this, but I hate the word organic and non-GMO. Producers have made it a coined phrase and now it's on label in the grocery store that everybody flocks to, or a lot of people flock to. It's the word that's being used, so I'm going to have to use it. But we're going to plant our own food, grow our own vegetables, and our fruit. Tomatoes are fruit. But we want to do it organically, not using any pesticides, not using any herbicides. Get some native grasses growing, native plants growing around the farm. And then in time, when we get the livestock, when we get the poultry, we want them grass-fed. We want them pasture-raised. We don't want them cooped up. We want them to roam around. I mean, shoot, we got 10 acres. Use it. So while we're still we're striving to be more health conscious. I know I can't be 100% health conscious. I still enjoy my beer. I enjoy some whiskey. My Monster Energy drinks, and I gotta admit it, my Snickers. I love Snickers, especially the Snickers Extremes. They were some damn good candy bars. So what can you guys expect from us? Every day is different. Because of our location, I talked to some tree services because I needed wood chips. I wanted wood chips for the hoop house. I wanted to put a floor down of just nothing but wood chips. And there's a tree service here in Raymore that has been providing me wood chips and logs and everything else. Well, let me back up. They asked if I would take logs. And I thought about it, and I'm like, yes. Because when we first got here, I'm going to back up again. When we first got here, we didn't have any firewood for the fireplace. Now, we're on city water, we have electric, we're not off-grid by no means. I don't think we ever will be. We never intended on it, but we do want to have measures in place in case of an emergency. But when we got here, I knew that if I cut down any trees, it would not be ready for the winter time. So I hit up Facebook Marketplace, and I hit up Craigslist. I found an ad on Craigslist for a cord of firewood delivered for 220 bucks. Kicking myself in the butt every day since then. They delivered the oak firewood, but when I got it stacked, it was a half a cord. I battled back and forth with this person. I didn't get anywhere. So I said, whatever, screw it. I'm not going to get burned ever again. Literally, I'm not going to get burned. I'm not going to order something or buy something from, I'm not going to buy firewood and it not be what it's intended to be or what it's supposed to be. So, but we bought it, we used it. So now coming back, they asked if I would take logs, and I was like, and I thought about it, I was like, yeah, because that would provide firewood for us, and it's free. They deliver it, I cut it up, I split it, I stack it, we're good for the winter. I branched out to other tree services in the area. So I have 3 services that are dumping on the farm. While at first nothing was going on, there was no planting really going on, I could keep up with the demand. Every day I go out, cut some wood, and then I brought my buddy's wood splitter, I was splitting some wood. But now, if you look in the back near the shop, forget about it. It's disgusting looking. I probably have about 2 cords, maybe 2.5 cords of firewood stacked up. It's usually maple and some hedge. Let's see what else, cottonwood. And it's all free. All I gotta do is cut it up, split it, stack it, let it dry, and we're good. So I got overwhelmed. I got all the wood chips I need to put in the hoop house, to put in the garden bed, but I still need to take care of that. So every day is different. The garden. When we were in North Carolina, we had a couple 4 by 8 raised beds, and then I made a trellis. When we got here, these huge ideas and views of grandeur popped into my head of having this massive garden. And everybody keeps telling me, like, man, you're in the prime spot. You can do your own farmer's market right where you're at. And I'm thinking, yeah, that would be great. That garden is 8,000 square foot. That garden is a monster. I used the garden tractor, and I used a cultivator, and I broke up the ground, and I got on March 6th of this year, I got some guy to come out for $100, and he rototilled it. And then after that, I let it set for a while, and then I made my raised rows. It's beautiful. And then I started putting wood chips down in the center as a center path. Man, that takes a lot of time and effort. And there is no easy way to do it. It's load them up in 3-gallon buckets or 5-gallon buckets, load them up in the truck, drive the truck up 100 feet, and then hand carry them off, and then dump them in between each raised row. So I went big. So go big or go home. Well, I went big. I'm not going home yet. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge starting out this big, and I want to see if I can do it. We have the space. Everything's done. All I got to do now is continue to plant seeds. If you look back into some of our earlier videos, I would say that, hey, we're getting chickens, and we're getting rabbits, and we're going to get goats, and we're all going to get this in the spring. Dude, we're mid-spring already, and we're getting pretty close to summer. It feels like summer, but no, we don't have any animals per se. A couple weeks ago, I rescued, well, I was cutting grass, and I rescued 3 baby kits, baby bunnies. I ran, cutting the grass out in the back along the creek, and I hit a burrow, and one got clipped. And when I heard it, I looked down at the chute, and all you saw was fur. So I got off the mower and I looked, and it hurts. It really does. It hurts to know that I unintentionally killed a baby bunny. And baby bunnies, they're so damn cute. But it hurt, and I felt really bad. And I knew that if I'd leave it there, if I didn't touch it, which is what I was supposed to do, because I knew that the mother would probably come back and take care of the other 3 that were still in the hole. But then at the same time, you got raccoons and possums. Possums and raccoons are all over this place. For their safety and for my well-being, I picked them up, put them in my hat, brought them in the house, and we've been taking care of them. And for the first week, I bottle fed at each one. So those that are on Instagram provided me with a lot of information on how to care for them, So if you're watching this and you provided me any kind of information, I do greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So, because they are alive and they are well and they're big. They're big. They're getting jumpy. That's the wild in them. Let's see. So what else can you expect from us? I did do one cooking video using the my family cookbook, the Ehrlich family cookbook. Let's see. We'll probably see some maintenance and some preventative maintenance on either the truck or the car or the SUV or any three of the Cub Cadets. Some building and construction. I tore out a fence. I know I need to build a chicken coop. Before we get the chicken coop, I need to build some pens next to the shop for the goats, rabbit hutches, stuff like that. Thanks to Doug from Doug and Stacy, kind of motivated me, got my butt in gear to get some water containers. So I got 4 IBC containers to collect or to harvest some rainwater, so that way we can water the garden and water the animals. And basically what we're going to be doing is I'm sharing our lives with you. Basically this is the startup of our family farm, and we want it to be successful, and if somewhere along the way that we are successful and beneficial to not just us but our local community with providing them wholesome locally grown food, and if I can teach somebody, give somebody a tip or a trick, such as getting firewood for free or getting wood chips for free if you live in an area that they would be able to come out and support. If I can do that, that's great. If you can learn from our mistakes and our sorrows along the way, that's great too. Basically to share, like I said, share our lives and enjoy life. Share this new experience. This is a new chapter for the entire family, and we want to cherish that and have a living journal that we can reflect on, that my children can reflect on years from now. You're like, oh hey, remember that? So, but that's it. Bus is going to be here in 20 minutes. But by all means, if you like this video, and go ahead check out the other videos. If you like them, check them out. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. There's a little bell down at the bottom that'll be notifications. So whenever I post something new, you'll get the notification for it. So we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram. We're on obviously YouTube. Just look up Filer Family Farm. Let's see what else. I think that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, by all means, feel free to ask. I appreciate you watching. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next adventure.